While it's not something we usually think about, water affects every aspect of our lives in the Tennessee Valley. We know that when we need water to bathe, cook, clean, or just want to play in it, it's there when the tap is turned on. And more importantly, we know we will receive high-quality, reliable water service each day of the year. It's something we may take for granted in this region since we don't see the miles and miles of water pipes that are underground. But there is one company that has been quietly doing its job day after day since 1886 to bring you safe, reliable water service. That company is Tennessee American Water. And this is the story of how your water flows from the river to the tap. It starts with the Tennessee River, a precious natural resource that winds its way through the Tennessee Valley. It's our region's biggest attraction. While scientists and environmentalists acknowledge the abundant source of water, the reality is you wouldn't want to drink water straight out of the Tennessee River. The Tennessee River is a natural collector of many kinds of debris and various forms of bacteria and pollutants. That is where Tennessee American Water comes in. Production Superintendent Mark Zanatti explains.
We are responsible for withdrawing water from the river, treating it to a safe drinking water supply, and distributing to the people.
The water treatment process begins here at the screen house where water is first drawn from the Tennessee River.
And that is essentially a big strainer. It removes big debris, sticks, leaves, things of that nature, stuff that may be just transported down the river.
As well as debris discarded into or around the river by people, like plastic bags, which are removed from the water before the real treatment process begins. This raw, untreated water does not meet federal and state guidelines for drinking water. It is the responsibility of Water Quality Supervisor Susan Holmes to test the water before and after it is treated.
The first step that we do after taking out the larger debris is to add the pre-treatment chemicals of chlorine, which is used for disinfection, and then a coagulant, which is used to assist in removing the dirt from the water.
Then, water moves through the sedimentation basin where the dirt then settles to the bottom of the basin and then passes on to the filtration process. It goes through a granular carbon-activated filter.
The carbon is critical in order to remove taste and odor compounds, and also some compounds that are of interest that may be a pollutant in the river if there's ever a spill. Then we can remove those as well. The sand is the final barrier to remove any small particles of sediment and dirt.
Then there's another round of treatment.
The next step will be post-treatment, where we add fluoride to prevent teeth decay. We add chlorine for another disinfection step and to protect the water until it gets to the end user. We add a little sodium hydroxide for pH adjustment, and we add a food-grade corrosion inhibitor that protects not only our pipes but the customer's pipes.
The water used for treatment, testing, and washing filters at this point is recycled back through the treatment process. That means Tennessee American Water has zero discharge back to the precious Tennessee River. Hundreds of tests are done each day on raw water and finished water at the Tennessee American Water plant, both by hand as well as via computer analyzers. The wet lab is where the water is analyzed and tested for a variety of pollutants and bacteria in the waters of the Tennessee River.
The metals that we test for, such as lead, they would be concerned about lead contamination. Of course, they are also concerned about the bacteriological quality of the water. Is the water going to make me sick? So we will test for the bacteria to make sure there is no bacteria in the water.
For example, tests are run for E. coli, which is naturally present in river water, as well as tests for current threats of contamination to the water supply. Not only are tests run at the Tennessee American Water Lab, but laboratory technicians also run tests out in the field.
We visit people's homes, we go to fire halls, restaurants, hospitals, just any public use of the water, and we collect a sample and we look for a species called total coliform, as well as then the E. coli is a subset of that.
Once water is tested, treated, and given the stamp of approval, it is sent out to the approximately 75,000 current residential and commercial customers that rely on Tennessee American Water. Tennessee American treats and distributes on average between 35 and 40 million gallons of water each day. You may find it surprising that despite the complex process of water treatment and distribution, It takes a mere 4 hours for water to complete its journey from the river to the tap. Production Superintendent Mark Zanatti credits much of this efficiency to technological advances made by Tennessee American Water, including the addition of the SCADA monitoring system back in the 1990s. SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition.
Without the SCADA monitoring system, we would not be able to perform our duties as we currently do. We would clearly have to have a lot more people involved in it. It'd take a lot more hands-on than what we do now. The automation process in itself has been a huge cost saver and has resulted in reductions of cost and labor and everything involved in the treatment process.
Tennessee American Water continues to stay ahead of the curve by investing in new technology and infrastructure.
That investment in infrastructure to maintain and to upgrade and to stay on the cutting edge of water treatment technology is absolutely necessary. We cannot afford to fall behind.
These investments, along with continued technological advances, ensure Tennessee American Water continues serving current customers, manages future growth, while keeping the cost of service down to a minimum.
We're able to deliver water to the customer, including the treatment process and transport to their house for less than a penny a gallon.
Every day, 24 hours a day for less than a penny a gallon.
By far and away the best utility value you can buy.
From the river to the tap, in less than 4 hours and for less than 1 penny per gallon, Tennessee American Water serves the Tennessee Valley. Water, it's what we do. For more information about Tennessee American Water, please visit our website at TennesseeAMwater.com.